Hey guys, Matt from Anvil again. Today I want to show you how to attach our custom LED taillights to a stock set of 70 to 73 Camaro lenses. So first thing you want to do is to take off your housing with your lenses, and that's pretty easy to do. There's just 4 nuts that hold this thing on your car. Obviously you want to take out your existing sockets before you do that. And then once you get that apart, these lenses snap out real easily. They just have tabs, and you can put a flat-headed screwdriver in there to pry it out, and they come out pretty easily. You should have had some rubber gaskets on these lenses. Sometimes these things are glued on. In that case, you just leave them on. If they're loose, take them off. It'll be easier to work with. All right, so here we have the left hand. See the LH there? Left hand, which is also considered your driver's side housing. And if you have an older set of housings that are kind of messed up a little bit, this would be a good time to repaint them black or whatever color you want before you move on, since you're unencumbered by lenses and everything else. Our LEDs don't use any reflective light because everything's going forward, so you don't have to really worry about this being white or silver or any other reflective color. I just left it white, I masked it off, but if you want to, you can paint it black, paint the whole thing black, doesn't matter. So only tools you're going to need is a drill with a 5/16 inch drill bit, and what you need to do is drill 2 holes, one there and one here. And it's not real critical exactly where those go, as long as it doesn't impede this area here, which is where your socket goes. And your socket has a flange, so just make sure you're back away from that a little bit. So in between here and there, and about the same distance away from that wall is good. And the reason we need to do that is because we have this wire that connects this light ring to this light ring to this socket. Because from the factory, as you know, this lamp, the inboard lamp with the reverse light, doesn't light up. Only this one lights up when you turn on your lights. Only thing that lights up is your reverse with the stock setup. With ours, both light rings light up the ring, the exterior part of the lens, and this is your brake and turn signal, and this remains your reverse light. Okay, so we usually ship these already assembled, but what you'll need to do is to remove the leads from this one, which is your the side that has your reverse light. Just unplug those, the connector, and you'll notice that the negative one has a black mark on there that shows you that it goes to the black connector here. That wire is black. This one is connected to the other lead going to your plug here, and that's going to be your positive. Okay, in this case it's blue. That could change depending on which wires we get at the time when we're assembling these things, but that's always going to be black, the negative. Okay, so once you drill your holes, then you need to assemble all of your lights to the corresponding lenses. Okay, so this being your reverse light, that's the only one that's kind of critical, in that you need to orient this white wire, and you also need to orient this on here. This has sort of a flange on there, so if you leave this, I call it diffuser, it's like a textured light diffuser, reflector, whatever, that's separate from this clear lens on the front. They both assemble from the back, but that goes over that, and you can see there's a little bit of a play there. Okay, so when you assemble this, you want to push it up. Up meaning this is the portion that's longer, that's your top side of the lens. This is shorter on this side, that's the bottom. So when that goes on there, push it up before you glue it into place. And to glue it, we give you some of this glue, give you a couple tubes of that, should be enough. Just put some all the way around that, and then put that on there the way it's supposed to be. And then you want to orient it also so that these wires are facing your holes on here. So if this is the driver's side and this is your inboard, you're going to want to have that wire kind of going towards this hole instead of coming straight down. Just clock it a little bit to about your 5 o'clock position. And actually, looking at it this way, it's going to be more your 7 o'clock position. So it's going to go there because you need to fish these wires through this hole and back into here. Okay. Another thing I have is I have one assembled already, and this one I took that diffuser piece off, and I just took a flat screwdriver and kind of pried it up around there, and it popped right off. If you're worried about cracking your lens, you know, you might not want to do that unless you have a backup. But I already glued this on, and it might be hard to tell, but it's not exactly concentric. I pushed it slightly up this way just to make sure that this light is not in the way of the socket. And what I mean is, when you put the socket in here, it sticks up through about that much, and you don't want to hit that light because once this gets pushed into place, you've got the light ring is kind of sticking out into this area a little bit where the socket comes through. This side doesn't matter because it's more flush because you don't have those extra lenses on the back, so you don't have to worry about this side. But this side, it's good to, again, have this glued on slightly above center, but you're not going to notice it unless you don't have a diffuser in there. When I call it a diffuser, I'm talking about our diffusers that we supply. You're going to get 4 inboard, or I'm sorry, inside rings, not rings, circles, and exterior rings for diffusers. And you can play around with a 12-volt source by seeing what you like better with the diffusers or without the diffusers. If you don't have a battery charger or some 12-volt source, you can use a 9-volt battery. They just won't be as bright, so it won't be as good a test. But you can test the rings and the center lights separately to see what you like. In this case, you probably want to use one of our frosted diffusers if you don't use this thing, because otherwise you're going to see that raw light, which in my opinion doesn't look that good because this doesn't have any texture to it. You're going to see it. Plus it's a little bit off center, so it might not look as good. So in order to put those diffusers on, you'll notice that there's a little step down area here on this ring. So these diffusers go right in there like that. And if they curl up a little bit, you can apply a little bit of this glue, just a little dab where it's sticking up, and let it dry before you glue it down, and that'll keep it in place. The exterior ring you don't have to worry about so much because it just kind of floats in there, and then when you glue this on, it'll stay in place. And you see that's a pretty good fit there, but you'll see what happens here. It gets glued just inside this ring here. So you can put the glue just inside there, or you can put it on the edge here, and this gets put on there. Once in place, you set all of your lenses aside, let the glue set up for about, I'd say, 8 hours or so, and then you're ready for assembly. If you run out of glue, if you need more glue, this stuff is the same as E6000 if you ever use that. There's also Gorilla Glue, Clear Grip. This stuff works. They're all about the same. It's kind of like a contact cement, but it's kind of gooey. And the great thing about it is if you get some where you don't want it, once it dries, you can just peel it right off. All right, so I have this one here that's already glued together. And what you want to do is start with your inboard lenses first, because you need to fish this through, and you'll see that we include these rubber grommets that go in the holes. Once you get the wires through, they keep any vibrations from abrading your wire casings. So We'll get this through here, and it's easier to fish one wire at a time through the hole. All right, and that's pretty easy. The harder part is getting the grommet in there, but it's not super tough. Just kind of have to press that up in there, and if it helps, you can use a real small screwdriver or a pick or something to kind of get it pushed in there, but I can use my fingers and my fingernails. It seems to work all right, so yeah, got it there, okay? And then you fish your socket, or your base, it goes in the socket through there. Before you put your lens in place, make sure you got the bottom and the bottom, and then you can just put that into place, and that's done. All right, you just have to pull this through, okay? And then you got to put the grommet on these wires that are going to go through your other hole on this side, okay? It's easier to do this than to put your wires in and then try to get the grommet in through the inside, I find. Okay, so now we just put that wire in there, put that wire in there, get this grommet, push the grommet in. Okay, so there we have it. If you want, you can put a little glue to keep the wire in place. It's not real necessary. It'll also seal it. You can either use the glue we supply or a little hot melt, but not really a big deal. And then so on this side, you're gonna have this already attached to here. Again, this wire here, there's long enough lead, since it only has to reach to here. You don't really need to worry about the orientation, the clocking of this so much. But if you want to put it towards the bottom, that's fine. And then once you glue this in place, it's going to be like that. You connect these wires to your positive and negative leads here, and then put everything together, fish this through here, and make sure that this is kind of critical. Make sure that these plastic sleeves on both the incoming and the receptacle wires are in place. And again, if you want, you can glue them in place once you're done, just to make sure they don't come off, because you don't want these wires touching, otherwise you're gonna have a short. So it's really critical you don't have any bare wires or any metal exposed, because all this stuff gets pushed behind this lens, and it's just kind of floating back there. There's plenty of space, so it's not that big of a deal. Then you put that into place, and then you're ready to screw this back on inside your car. Put these in your corresponding sockets, and then bayonet mount your sockets in place, and you should be good to go. All right. If you purchase one of our custom lenses, like this one, in red with a red reflector, we also have the center where it's just a red dome, and we have different kinds of trim. This is chrome. We also have natural aluminum and black anodized. And here's our custom lens, also in smoked gray. The process of putting these in is the same as far as drilling the holes and the housing, putting in your grommets. The only difference is these come pre-assembled, so it makes the job a lot easier. You just fish this out of that hole, put your tabs in, assemble everything with your gaskets, put it back in your car, plug it all up, and you're good to go. Visit our website for pricing and availability and options, and anything else, just give us a call. All right, thanks, bye.